So that was actually the bank calling. I knew I had to answer it because I had set the wire for the remainder of the Walner breeding. I had to explain to the lady at the bank that I was purchasing more semen. But it's good. I knew why they were calling. I assumed what we had to do. They were verifying that it wasn't fraud. Anyway, Addie wanted to go. The two right behind me that are out cold wanted to go see, what's the name of that movie? Mrs. Webb? Must be the girl, Spider-Man. Anyway, I told Addie if she had a nap, I would take her. She said she wasn't tired. I said, okay, let me see your tablet for a second. And if you can go 10 minutes without going to sleep, I will give your tablet back, no problem. I think she lasted literally 1 minute and 35 seconds out cold. So, take 3. We were talking about set number 3. We were talking about Westland Warrior Scrotum. We will stop talking about that now. And then I was talking about Amy being frustrated. She sits at the bar and fly. Very nice filly, least of my worries. And I can see what she's doing. She stands off a little bit, which I don't care. Lots of our best horses stand off a little bit, especially trotters. Not really a concern for me unless they're interfering. Now, when you have a trotter that stands off, they paddle inward. So again, you're worried if they're going to touch their knees or their shins. Now, when she's at top speed, she touches nowhere. Clean gated. But in between those gears, where she's sitting in a hole, and this is why maybe I didn't explain it to you well. When you are backing her up and moving forward and backing her up, you're putting her in a position where she is going to touch herself. And when you see her jump forward as you portrayed it to me, she jumped forward. That to me means she went to go forward, she touched herself, startled herself, and bounced forward. And more times than not, that next action is a break. And that's what you see happening. And that's why I told you not to get locked in, just to continue to move her forward, try not to double her up much. Now, I'm glad that she sat and behaved. It's easy. And what I'm telling you is an easy fix as we get the corks off of them. You can leave a couple of toe corks on the outside. And again, the flip-flops, it's not just that they touch because of the way of their feet are. She's not bad. She's a little bit. I would say she's at 11-1. Not a big deal. But they do also touch behind. So when you watch her jog, the way she kind of turns her ass over a little bit, just a little bit, and keeps her head in, if you look where her right front foot lands, it's squarely, she just misses that right hind leg by a smidge because she's learned how to trot. She's learned how to trot at that speed. But if you were to go out there and let her jog fast and then slow her down, let her jog fast and slow her down, you would see her become frustrated very quickly because she was interfering. And I told you she had that little spot under her left front knee. That's because she touches that when she's jogging sometimes. Although she comes nowhere near it at training speed and won't at racing speed. At jogging speed, she does. So you probably should jog her with a brand new set of shin boots in the tack room that were in the cabinet. You can have them for old shitty. Now she sits at the bar and made the break today. I'm not really that worried about it. The reason I play it off is because these are horses that are dialed in mentally. They will make errors. But when you show them the way and put the work in, I've seen the work ethic of speed of sound, right? And we'll talk about a number of horses that have this great work ethic. Once they want to do it, once they enjoy competition and they want to do it, it's so much easier to train them and to teach them and to allow them to accelerate and do their work well. And she sits at the bar is definitely one of those. So I'm literally not worried about her in the least. Now, as I said to you in the last turn, she's wandering out a little bit, and that was the beginning of the end for her making a break. As you come out of the turn, then she really does wander out, touches herself, gets out of gear, and at that speed, it's hard for her to correct herself, and then she inevitably makes a break. In the turn, if you get her down, just tap her on the right side, on the right flank, and just talk to her a little bit. If you can get her squared away so she's in the 2-wide path right beside me, when you come out of the turn, then she can wander just a hair, and it's not a big deal. But you're already out in the 3-wide path. She's already thinking about what she may or may not, what mistakes she may make. You have to get them to the point where they are not thinking about the mistakes they might make. They are only thinking about their work. And that's why we train them. That's why we train them the way we train them. How's that for communication?
A lot better than what you did earlier.
Well, because you looked a little heated. You're a little red. You weren't in the listening mood, is what you weren't.
I wasn't in the listening mood because you're like, we can't go too much, but we don't double her up, but don't put her here and don't put her there.
All right. Do we need back. We'll keep this portion of the video and you can play it before you go to church, right? Is that helpful?
Had you said it nicely like that,
Okay,
then maybe I wouldn't have got upset.
Yeah. Sorry, you couldn't hear me with the cotton in your ears. Anyway, so now you got a little insight into my wife. She might have been a little angry today, but a little insight into how difficult it is and can be with the babies, and how tricky it can be sometimes. But she sits in the bar, doesn't bother me at all, because I guarantee you, when push comes to shove and we drop the hammer, she's going to show up in a big way, and I'm certain of it. I don't know how good any of these horses will be, but I will tell you, I will make this prediction. However fast God has made, she sits at the bar, you will see it in July of 2024. She's a very, very nice filly. So we had Cadeau, who trained well again. He continues to do his work well. He's just a sweet little horse. Never Lose Felix. He's making breaks in the same dumb places. That break in the middle of the straightaway wasn't necessary. We got to tighten his hobbles up. Darrell was a little frustrated after, and he should have been. There was no need for that horse to make that break there. I watched him do it right beside me, and there was no need of it. So tighten his hobbles up, get him to work. High Hopes, I didn't see very much of, but I know she impressed me 2 weeks ago. Now, you had to go with the head pull on the other day. She didn't like that head pull. Jason just had the jawbreaker and a Murphy blind.
Oh, yeah.
Different horse today. He said she was awesome. Now, to me, little old me, the standout of the set was Melisandre. And I had told, how you like that, Daniel? Daniel said to me that day, he said, she just looks sour. I said, wow, you don't have to sugarcoat it. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
I'm going to send him a picture of her when she's in the stall.
Yeah. Yeah. So Melisandre, little edgy, but likes to compete. And that's why I moved her where I did. She just felt like she was looking around, and she was just mildly interested in her work that day, today. When I moved her over and I cut her loose and tapped her on the tail, she was marching and cleared over to the lead quite quickly. And then into the backstretch, she usually pulls up a little bit, right? That's just her thing. She'll do it all the time. She didn't do it today. I just let her wander quietly, just saunter down the backstretch. I wanted to be at the half in 128, and we were at the half in 124. So we were there 4 seconds faster than I wanted to be. This is important, because I knew we were going to come a half in 18 or 20. It was just a little more than I wanted to go. Those horses have all been faster, but they didn't need to go faster today. So I just let her walk kind of down the backstretch, and Amy was the one that got up alongside me. She sits in the bar, and halfway around the last turn, I just waited for her. I just waited for her to want to go for it. You know, they'll sort of give it like they want to get at it. And I just waited for her to do it, and I could feel her just kind of tug on the bit a little bit. And I tapped her on the tail, and she was gone. She was very, very, very good today. The horses that I've been working with, I've been very pleased with this week. We'll talk about another one in a minute. He actually made a break in the end of the mountain. It was not his fault. It was my fault. But Melisandre today was lights out. She was so good. And for Daniel, who thought she looked sour, what say you now? Set number 4, another filly that I got a lot of love for is Grand Slam Dio. This is Up Your Dio's sister. She was not perfect when we got her. She had OCDs removed, so a little left hind you'd see sometimes, maybe a little bit left front, nothing serious, but you would see it once in a while. And of course she would kick all the time. She never kicked. The only time she kicked at me was the day I thought I put an open bridle on her. She kicked that day, but has not kicked at me ever. That's a filly that kicked the hell out of him. And Scott tried to maul him there in the open house that day. She has been so good. And then she made a break coming to the half. I was sitting last, and Jason had a weight whip, and he just kind of flicked it at his horse, like, I don't know what he was doing, but flicked the whip a little bit. And he moved it quickly, and she kind of caught it, and she saw it and spooked her, and she made a break. But again, that's just silly stuff. She caught back trotting and was just fantastic after that. So happy with her. Freedom Hill, a couple little equipment adjustments needed with her. Lots of speed.
Did Erica?
Yeah, she made a break.
Well,
the problem was they had the Buxton too loose, so the Martingale was riding up. She has a yoke, thoroughbred Martingale. You'll see us, we wear them on a lot of horses. It's just a V, and it's got 2 rings right here, and it connects to the Buxton, the breast collar. But that breast collar has to be snug. If it's loose, the martingale comes up and it does nothing. So the theory behind it is the lines go through these rings and they sit down, they kind of anchor the lines. So when you pull on the horse, it can't really throw its head and get its head up because it's anchored by these rings that are attached to the buxton. Well, if the buxton isn't connected tight underneath, I don't mean tight to chafe them, but I mean snug. And if it's not, it rides up, it does nothing. The rings are just sitting there, they're doing nothing. And that's what had gone on with that filly today, Freedom Hill. That, and she just needs a little more weight up front. I told the girls she needed some bell boots on up front. A few little tinkers here and there, and Freedom Hill will be on track. She can fly, this filly, and never gets tired. Allie's got grit. He's an ignorant little rude bugger sometimes, but again, I had said this to Jason. You see this when you see horses training in small sets. No reason for him to make a break there. I guarantee you. Give him...
That was an effort.
Yes, it was. So he was on the front with Jason and made a break on the front end. That was Allie's got grit. So... No, Jason had Allie's got grit. 100%. Would you like to wager?
No.
I'm not going to let you
No,
look.
okay, did Daryl have? Who had followed?
Daryl in that side?
I followed Daryl.
Daryl had What a Lady, What a Night. The other one. She got a sweet gait. And she was a little pacey, you said, but she had burnt in her heels from the bell boots the other day. She did her work
I thought
well.
She did really well.
She did. She doesn't have as much training in her. No, neither of them have. The other horse just got a little streak in him. He's a little ignorant. I guarantee you, he is going to come around quite well. I told him to make sure he works hard on Wednesday and hard on Saturday. So Allie's got grit. He's going to spend, although the principal is not in the school for a week, he will be in the principal's office all week long. Just needs to work. He's not the first Allie's got grit we've ever seen, and I can assure you he'll polish up just fine, but it will take some elbow grease. Wander Hill, that was the last set. I didn't talk about Wander Hill. I skipped right over him. I apologize. I like Wander Hill. I don't like that he's a little peggy and makes breaks, but I'm going to assume when we get the corks off, he'll polish up nice. I hope. I don't see any reason not to. One, he's had decent breeding. Two, he's got a nice gait. Three, he's got a good attitude. Now, those horses are being castrated tomorrow.
He was one of them, right?
Well, I know that LT Troubadour was one.
Yes.
Felix is the other one. And then Wander Hill is the third one, isn't he?
He should be.
We should check
I don't know
into
who else.
that. Should check into that. Anyway, I like Wander. I just think we need to do more. So we're back into set 3. I'm ready to. It was great. His knees bother him a little bit. I told the little girl today, I said, just bolts them all up like he did yesterday. Pull him out today, blister him tomorrow. He doesn't train next week. He just jogs Wednesday and Saturday like a couple of the other ones. He's had a long week and did very, very good again today. Arrowhead Hanover, I love this horse's gait. I don't... The only thing that'll stop him, I guess maybe his attitude. His attitude's great right now and it's getting better, but we're not there yet. Again, just God-given talent because he's got the sweetest, squarest gait you'd ever want to see. Does his work really well. He's good, right? I like Arrowhead Hanover a lot. What a Lady, What a Night, as I said, we were just talking about, has done her work well since she came to Ontario, Ohio, very happy with her. And Fire and Shine, Jason said, was 2 fingers in the mile, so she's really learning because she was rude for quite a while and is now starting to look much, much better. Really, really happy with what I see from What a Lady, What a Night. We're into the 5th set. Now, what?
Fire and Shine.
Oh yeah, sorry, Fire and Shine. Captain Incredible's break today was my fault, 100%. When we were on the track, we'd gone from a Murphy blind outside to actually a head pole inside. No, I don't want to take over the whole set talking about him. I should have finished with him. The head pole on the inside tape was a little too sharp, I think. Wasn't the one that we used the other day. And I saw it when we were going on the track, but I said, he'll be all right. Secondly, we let his hobbles out a little bit. I just think he's got such a sweet, sweet gait. I wanted to let them out, and I wanted to show you guys. Clear to the front, hard, controlled the mile. When we came out of the turn, he just overpaced himself, and I let him. You know, he got running out away from that head pole a little bit, got out of gear, and rolled off stride, and that was on me. I should have kept him together or put him in gear a little bit earlier. I was extremely happy with his attitude. Now, I believe we are going to send this horse to Florida. I'm going to draw papers. I spoke to a couple of trainers, and one of them had recommended, Ron Burke had recommended Scott McEnany and said that he has some horses for him over there. Scott's a tremendous trainer. I didn't do a huge amount of investigation into this, so if you have your own trainers out there, you say, what about this guy, what about that guy, I apologize. But when it came down to adequacy at the very least. Scott McEnany has conditioned tons of horses. Twinbee Archie recently is one of the best trotters in Canada the last 3 years in the 2-year-old ranks, right? The Archie horse that James was driving. And obviously, more notably, he was a campaigner behind Bettor's Delight. So Scott's resume is deep and long running. Nice guy. I've known Scott for a very, very long time. And I did reach out to him a little bit. I believe the clay track will help this guy. I'm not a big proponent of, you got to get them to Florida. I just don't. It's great for the trainers. I would love to be in Florida. It'd be great. But at the end of the day, is there a massive benefit? No, I don't think so. I don't think there is. From what I can see, but lots of great horses come from lots of places that weren't Florida or Georgia or South Carolina. But the reason I want to get him there is because I do want to make sure he stays sound. He's a big, heavy horse. He is a big horse on a half-mile track. I just think take all the cork off him, just easy shoes, and put him on a clay track like you'll likely see at the Red Mile. I have seen a difference from, you think of Pickpocket, immediately when he got to the Red Mile. Arson, immediately when they got to the Red Mile, they were better. It's just a better surface, right? So to have a mile track, and that was the sticking point. It wasn't necessarily a recommendation or any name trainer. It was the placement of the trainer. Where is that trainer at? Scott is at, forgive me if I'm wrong, Spring Garden Ranch, which is a mile clay track. So I am going to send Captain Incredible to Scott McEnany to finish off. He'll come back this way. Now, where will he make his way to? I don't know. Will it be the Meadowlands? Will it be that area? Will it be Megan in New York? Will it be us? I don't think it'll be us in Ohio, but if he trains down good and he's ready to go early enough, he can make his way to Oak Grove with Eric and Kathy. Obviously, that's a possibility. I just think the world of this horse. I didn't know a whole lot about him other than we paid an extraordinarily high amount of money for him. But the horse I sat behind today, this is a good horse. He has all the tools and loves his work. And you can see that. You guys go back and watch the video when Jason went with him last week. There just wasn't a horse there. It was a power outage. He was present at best. Wednesday was his best training mile ever. I circled the field and drove away on them. Today, all it was that the horse overpaced himself. Sharper head pull than he needed on the inside. That was on me. Hobbles going out, of course, that was on me. And I'm not sorry about that. I don't forgive. I'm not apologizing for that. It's just the way it worked out. What's wrong? It's just the way it worked out, and I was truly impressed with him today. Now, Rose Run AJ, impressive animal. Rose Run AJ's only problem is when he gets really wound up and hyper, you can see his breathing. It's an issue right now. Now, we've scoped him 3, 4, 5 times. Mechanically, there is nothing wrong with Rose Run AJ, so it has to be nerves. So we're just going to continue to work on getting him under control. Jason Merriman has done a tremendous job with him. Very smart, quiet with him on the track, and the horse has lots to offer. Really, really fast horse. And truthfully, me trying to pace with him down the lane. I paced away from him the other day, but he had the momentum today, and when we were pacing, we were really rocking halfway down the lane, and that extra hole or two, whatever we let them out on Captain Incredible, and the head pull just being a hair too sharp, I think that was the reason, right? That was the reason he made a break. But ultimately, I'm sitting behind him, and it was on me. So Rose Run AJ looked very, very good. I asked Eric after. He said he loved Pelican Al. He said as soon as you guys covered him up, he said, I love the way this horse paces. Beautiful. He's had his issues in the past, but he is getting better. And Pelican Al, I was happy to hear that from Eric. Foxy Seaside continues to look good. Also, now the only issue is Country Dancing. She has that splint on the inside of her left front leg. It's a problem. It's bothering her, and you can see it. Amy said she was out of gear a little bit. We had changed it, and this is why I'm certain it's a splint, because we had gone from a steel even to an aluminum. I was just going to try and clean her gait up just for a few weeks with a lighter shoe on, and she was no better. If anything, maybe even worse, which led me to believe that it wasn't the mechanics. It was something causing the mechanics to be out of whack, and I would bet dollars to donuts, as the old timers would say, that it is most definitely that splint. We'll go to work, cry little splints on her. I think there might be 2, one for sure. Splint or splints on her, and I can assure you that will be that. Lots to offer. It's a beautiful filly also. Today a little rough, last week a little rough. We'll get to the bottom of it, don't worry about that. And Dancing in My Socks, Joey said he trained good. In this set, in this grouping, it's the deep end of the pool for him. And he's a nice colt. He's got lots to offer, but again, his size, he's just so darn big. He's a giant animal. So we'll see. All different types and size of horses today training, and definitely in that set. And then we'll finish off with set number 6. My girl Green Glitter at the back. She was goofing off and made a break. I hate that. I hate when you're not paying attention, you make a break. And today she was on the left line, away from the Murphy blind a little bit. So I told the girls, thought she was just a hair underweight. Maybe I thought she should have a little more weight on. I said to Callie, no training next week, Wednesday, Saturday off when I'm gone away. Just jog her, and I want you to focus on putting some weight on her. I want her eating well all week, and I want to see a horse 20, 25 pounds heavier when I come back next Saturday. Dancing by Myself is a horse I run down, and Jason raved about this horse. Both Jasons say this horse is a killer on the track, and this is one of our homebreds. We had sold the mare. She was barren last year, so we sold her, and that was Stolen Dance. This colt here, he's got lots to offer, and he can fly. Now, his mom didn't stand the greatest. He stands good. Doesn't hit anywhere. I guess he does touch that cheek behind. Put a couple of marks on it, but the trotter doesn't. He was all business today. He looked amazing. Memento Mori, very subdued and flying on the end of it. Now we're starting to see a much better Memento Mori. Very impressed with him today. He looked good, and Jason was very happy with him. Roser and Alexandra, Eric said to me pulling up, he goes, I had nothing bad to say about this filly. She was 2 fingers today. I moved her over, and she paced as hard as she could. She can absolutely fly. Very, very nice filly. A Tron? You went with the Tron? A little flat, you said.
Yeah. She's like my favorite horse.
Yeah.
She's so nice. But we come back.
It's 13 or 14 or something.
No.
No, I think it was around there. Didn't matter. She was good, but if it was just that she wasn't ready to rock with them, then that will come. I'm not, but she was sound. You said she wasn't on the line or anything? No, that's good. And then Bluebird Tuxedo Hill. Again, one of our better colts. Daryl Wylam said he was very good. I put a hood snake cord on today. He said he was on the line because of the snake cord a bit. Daryl doesn't like snake cords. It's unfortunate because Anthony does. And we use a lot of them. I know there's a lot of trainers out there saying, oh, baby, we never do that. I would say we have 45 babies in the barn here in Ohio. 15 of them, rather. And I just want to make sure that we are able to control the horses when we're supposed to. And I have very little interest in babying them to try and teach them how to do it right. I would rather teach them how to do it right and then work on them being a little quieter after. And that may sound counterintuitive to a lot of people out there, but that's how we do it. That's how we've always done it. I want the horses on their toes and competitive, and when we need them to behave, they need to behave, and that's exactly how we do it. So Bluebird Tuxedo Hill has got lots to offer. He's got lots of speed, lots of talent. As I said, a very big component of a very talented group and deep pool of horses we have in Ohio, and I'm very, very happy with what I've seen from him, especially as we head into the latter part of winter here in the first part of spring is fast approaching at the stable. So that is an update on all the horses. We talked about the jogging set, why it was important to get them out there. I wanted to let everybody see Chappie, wanted to let everybody see the other horses. They're very present. There's nothing severely wrong with them. It just, as I said, the old adage I say all the time to people in the training, when the horses are talking, you listen. And he'll know, and I'm a trucker, just felt like they're struggling a little bit, that their knees were bothering them a little bit this week in their training. So we opted to back off with them. They'll stay in a more light jogging pattern for the next 2 weeks. We get them back on track. Chappie, I wouldn't say the slickest gait, but considering he didn't trot for the first 6 to 8 weeks we had him, huge gains there. And he'll come. And then the Kemp horse, he probably could have trained today, but again with that cut in the front of his hind pasture, and I just wanted to take my time. And then Baby Zet, I wanted to talk to Dr. Latassa too and ask him about Baycox or even Marquis for Baby Zet. So with that, I'm going to let you go. It's been a wonderful day here at the barn. The only business left today is Ollie's got some baseball practice later on today, and then we have Stay Special later on tonight. So good luck to Stay Special, and hopefully Ollie has a good practice, and all will be well in the kingdom. So with that, I'll let you go. I will talk to you again tomorrow. We have all our videos to do tomorrow. Amy and I might talk about our top 10 lists of recent training trips. I'll be back to you all very soon. Take care.